Hello and welcome all. Today I want to talk about spies, in particular what you can do as medic to combat them. This means checking your back regularly, something I do not do often enough, avoiding trick stabs, being aware of common places spies like to decloak and what loadout the spy has, as well as what area of the map the spy prefers to work at and the spy's skill level. To avoid trick stabs, you want to do something to mess with the spy's timing, since most trick stabs are based off timing. This can be as simple as stopping and backing up for a short moment, jumping and taking the long way around corners. Just try to do something the spy won't suspect, instead of just chasing them in a straight line. I start by Ubering this heavy in order to keep the enemy trapped in their spawn. As my Uber runs out, I position myself near an escape route. I stay primarily focused on the heavy, but I switch to the other classes that need healing. I do not cross with the heavy, instead stay on the soldier here, trying to position myself out of sight as much as possible. A pyro comes up and burns me. I retreat to a health pack. I run over towards this injured soldier and begin healing him. Once it's safe to do so, I get out of the cubby. I retreat to the first capture point as I do not wish to deal with the heavy medic combo. I begin healing the heavy up here and crouch down behind the little barrier. I make sure to keep myself out of sight as much as possible. Once it's safe to do so, I return to the front lines. And with my Uber ready, I use it on the soldier in order to push the enemy back. I take out my bone saw and kill the heavy on the cart. The demo knight charges in and I retreat and let the sentry take care of him. The heavy attempts to gun me down, so I position myself out of sight as much as possible. I start healing this soldier here. A heavy nearly guns me down, a spy stabs the soldier, but with my low health I do not pursue. You really don't want to be getting in a fight with a spy when you're on low health. As I respawn, I make my way to the front lines and begin to heal the heavy here. I see a medic spy, but I'm unable to catch up to him. I check my back and I see another spy. Now in this situation, you have two choices. You can either heal the heavy or help kill the spy. As the heavy has full overheal, I decide to gun down the spy. As we make our way to the front lines, I make sure to position myself out of sight as much as possible. Thanks for the domination, thy holy hand grenade. A spy makes a failed stab. Make sure when chasing spies you do not get tunnel vision, as they can lead you into traps. As I arrive at the front, I begin to heal the critically injured snipers. I stay on this one till he is back to full HP, before looking around for a more viable heal target. None to be found. This spy attempts to stair stab me. I make sure to move to the left and follow his jump all the way around in order to avoid it. He cloaks away and I returning to healing as my teammates can search for the spy. I switch to healing this soldier, and I see a spy make a stab on one of my teammates. However, with me being on fire, I have more pressing concerns than dealing with the spy. I reload my syringe gun and start healing this critically injured scout. I stay around spawn as I'm a bit concerned of the spy. I start healing the scout again that's on fire before switching to the demo man, hiding behind cover from any potential enemies while building up my uber charge. I keep moving in hopes to avoid a potential backstab. Once my uber's ready, we go in order to push the enemy back. Unfortunately, we are unable to get the medic, and with an engineer setting up a sentry there, I did not want to push in. That's what I get for not checking my back regularly enough. Be careful around here, as it is a major sniper sightline. If the engineer wasn't on low health, I would have just whipped out my syringe gun and killed the spy instead of healing the engineer. I rush over to the demo man who's been calling for medic. I start healing this critically injured engineer before swapping to a pyro, and finally this heavy. I try to position myself out of sight as best I can from the enemy fire. Once the heavy is dead, I make my way to where this engineer has set up and hide from the incoming Uber as best I can. Once my own Uber charge is ready, I use it in a desperate gambit to prevent them from capping. Unfortunately, we are unsuccessful and they cap. As soon as the round starts, I pop Uber in order to surprise the enemy. Unfortunately, they had the same idea. Once my Uber ends, I make sure to bail out as I do not want to be caught near their spawn. I start healing this pyro here before switching onto this spy. I hear a stab and check my back, but no spy. I start healing this pyro here till he uses his jetpack to fly away. I look around for the critically injured soldier. There he is. I begin to heal him. The heavy drops down and I start healing him instead. I follow him as we push up to their spawn. I stay on him. Enemy heavy attempts to gun me down and I take cover while healing him. But I quickly bail as I do not want to be caught between their spawn and an enemy. The spy drops down and I whip out my gun to deal with him. He backstabs the heavy and makes an escape. I do not pursue because I do not wish to be caught in an engagement this close to their spawn. I rush over to the demo man who's been calling for medic and begin to heal him. I look around for other teammates to heal but do not see any. I pop Uber to keep this pyro off the cart here before flashing to a critically injured soldier. I stay near the cart as our objective is to defend it. I switch to this demo knight who's on fire before swapping to this critically injured pyro and then to this heavy here. Then back to the critically injured pyro. I start trying to overheal these three heavies here as best as I can in order to have a strong defense. And I continue to do so. I switch to this critically injured pyro there before going back to these three heavies. I see a spy and pop Uber to try and prevent him from backstabbing the heavies here. As I arrive at the front with my team, I see a spy and attempt to gun him down. However, he cloaks away and I quickly return to healing my teammates. The spy later drops down and stabs the heavy in the corner. This time we're successful in killing him. When dealing with spies, you really have to be aware and constantly checking your back, especially in the middle of the combat as they thrive on the chaos. A pyro shows up. Luckily the soldier above takes care of him. I give the spy a quick heal before making my way up the stairs and start healing this soldier here. I give a brief check back for spies. None to be found. We're successful in killing the heavy. I see a spy but do not have time to search for him. I trust that the pyro will eventually find him and take care of him. My Uber nearly ready. I plan to use it soon. In fact, now. You don't really need to look for spies when you're Ubered charged with stock, as you're invulnerable. An enemy pyro shows up and burns me, and I retreat to a health pack. I then proceed to make my way back to my team. With an enemy Uber incoming, there is no way for me to get out. A spy backstabs my heal target, so I attempt to gun him down till my teammates arrive and I start healing them. This soldier that comes out here I think is a spy until he fires his rocket launcher, clearing him of suspicion. I try to overheal as many of my teammates as possible. A spy makes a stab and I check my back. There he is. He attempts to trick stab me and I make sure to walk backwards as soon as I see him jump. I do not pursue due to the blue soldier behind me and instead retreat. I check my back every so often for pursuit. I start healing this engineer here until I can find something better to heal. I eventually decide to make my way to where I know there will be some people but encounter an enemy pyro. I retreat till I see one of my own teammates and begin to heal him. One of the pyros air blasts me. Thank you. If you're a pyro, please air blast your medics when they're on fire. With my Uber nearly ready, I plan to drop down here and surprise them. Unfortunately, there was no one at the cart. Oh well. I see a spy who proceeds to backstab a soldier. I chase him and make sure to take the corners wide to avoid the trick stab. Unfortunately, this makes me fall to the bottom of the map. Luckily, there's a soldier down here who happily escorts me back to the top, keeping me safe from any potential enemies. The spy is waiting for me at the cart. This time I take the corner short to confuse him and avoid the trick stab, causing him to die miserably. As the round starts, I plan to push out to the left as our other medic is on the right. I see that he's used Uber, so I do not use mine until we're pushed up a bit further. Once we do, I use it and we drop down here and take out the sentry nest in the cubby. Once my Uber ends, I quickly retreat to the cart. I check my back for pursuit, and then I heal off from the cart. I see a spy, however I do not pursue, and I attempt to gun him down once he comes closer, but I'm not in the mood for an engagement. I start healing the critically injured soldier that took care of the spy for me. I keep checking my back. I hear a spy on fire, but I don't know where. I should really be checking my back more often. I helped the pyros take care of whatever was in there, and we struggle to push up the cart up here. I tried to position myself out of sight of any of the enemy snipers. The spy stabbed most of my teammates, so I fall back a bit. Oh, we push up. I stay on this critically injured pyro and crouch behind the cart. Unfortunately, an enemy pyro with crits cleans us up. I hide in this little cubby here. Just be careful, as spies also like to hide in here. So I keep checking my back. Once again, I continue to check my back. I don't want to push too far out there due to potential snipers. I start healing the heavy here, and a pyro clears the two of them up. I whip out my syringe gun while waiting for potential teammates to heal, like this soldier. I finally go out and we push up to the cart. I bump a spy who backstabs the soldier, and I immediately bail as the scout and soldier chase me. I managed to make it back. A spy comes up and attempts to stab my teammates. The spy attempts a trick stab and I back off to avoid it. I start healing this critically injured soldier here. I'm currently paranoid due to the spy stabbing all my heal targets. I pop Uber on this pyro so he doesn't have to worry about getting trick stabbed. We managed to get the medic. That's good. A pyro of crits cleans me up. I see a spy through the wall hack, so I turn around and kill him before continuing on to my way. I start healing this engineer in here, and then I follow the scout out. I avoid jumping down as I do not want to get ambushed. I see the stuff has been stabbed, so I check my back and there's a spy. He runs up the stairs, but I do not follow, so I easily avoid the trick stab. Once I'm sure he can't do a stair stab, I continue to follow him. He tries for a corner stab, but I make sure to not fully round that corner to avoid it. I check up the top to see that he is dead, so he did not use a dead ringer, as his name is greyed out. This does not mean I do not have to worry about spies, as there may be more on their team. As I arrive at the front, I whip out my syringe gun to deal with this spy. I bail because of the oncoming Uber. I keep my syringe gun out while I pick up some health before healing this pyro. The pyro does not air blast me. Thanks for the domination, tweet. Now, there are a couple of weapons that can help against the spy, such as the Blutsauger, which offers more short-term survivability in exchange for less long-term survivability, provided you can land the majority of your shots in a 1v1 situation. If you're going to risk a trick stab by engaging a spy in melee, take the Uber Saw, or you want to try and save some of your Uber charge, take the Vita Saw. Just be aware, if you're using the Vita Saw, you'll lose 10 HP, putting your health at 140. At this point, I've said all I wanted to say in this video. The rest is just left in, as I wanted to finish the video at the end of the round. Thanks for the second domination, tweet.
Mission ends in 30 seconds.
Thanks for watching. I hope this helps your aspirations of becoming a better medic.